Hello and welcome to another very exciting episode of TeqTalk, where we discuss data, AI, innovations across multiple industries. Today, I have someone with me who is a leader in HLS, Healthcare Life Sciences, an innovator, a scientist, an entrepreneur, or venture capitalist. Welcoming Dr. Prasun Mishra on the show. Thank you so much, Dr. Mishra, for coming into the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Jess, for having me here.
Absolutely. To set the stage, I would like to know a little bit more about you and your career journey.
Yeah, so I started my career as a scientist, trying to understand mechanism of drug resistance and mainly in cancer. Mm-hmm. So particularly when I started my career, I learned that a majority of the time it's a drug that kills patients, actually. So the chemotherapy, patients die of cancer chemotherapy, toxicities of chemotherapy, then the disease itself actually. And that came as a shock to me. And then I thought that a career, basically understanding mechanism of drug resistance and approaches where we can develop tests to see which patient responds and which patient doesn't, or a patient responds but a toxic responder actually. So how can we identify? And then that time it used to be called pharmacogenetics actually within this field, and then the field evolved to become pharmacogenomics, then individualized medicine, personalized medicine, now precision medicine. So I founded American Association for Precision Medicine. That basically the goal is organization brings 4 pieces of precision medicine. That's payers, providers, public health planners, and patients together to accelerate the field of precision medicine and transform patient health. So that's our goal. And I have, served in academia. I was with Rutgers, affiliated with Rutgers for some time. Then moved to NIH and CINIH. And I served U.S. government for about 7 years. Then joined Genentech Roche, where I helped their oncology, fibrosis, and anti-aging portfolios, and then led to a couple of spin-off companies actually. But today I'll wear my since we're talking about precision medicine, the precision medicine hat to help you understand the field there.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to know you more, and your career trajectory is really, really great. So when I thought to get you on the podcast, I was like, what topic should I do? Because you have got such diverse kind of career, and you are an investor, you are an entrepreneur, you have done a lot of things before. So I thought this topic is going to really impact the audience and can make then more curious to know what's going to happen, because AI is impacting all the industries, and this precision medicine is not left behind. AI is gratefully impacting it, and it has made it from one DNA model based to multi-modal science, right? And we know that a lot of commercial companies, commercial organizations like Tempus, they have kind of already processed 200,000 samples of tumors by integrating genomic sequencing with structured clinical data so that they can provide personalized kind of treatment regime at scale. So I would like to understand from you more, as you have been a part of this area from very, very long, that how has AI really impacted this precision medicine from last 10 years?
Yeah, so and it's very much impacted actually, So precision medicine vision has been from, began as, say, drug diagnostic combination, right? How can we have a diagnostics that can predict drug response, right? As simple as that, right? So that was personalized medicine. But then in 2000, like you asked over the last 10 years, right? 2011 and 12, this is when National Academy of Sciences was given a task, all the members to see how the future will look like. And that time, Google Maps was, very popular, and everybody was, at all with it. And then what Google Maps did there is exactly what you said. Yeah. They put different data sets together and stacked it in a layer. So I think what they suggested is that, hey, this is what the future is going to look like. So what we will have is we're going to stack all these different omics information, your exposome and other information, and we'll build a personalized molecular classifier, actually. So that data will feed into a personalized molecular classifier. And then we'll now utilize this, personalized molecular classifier to predict any new inputs, any new patient data that comes in. We will make an informed decision on that patient, and then the model will perfect itself as as more data comes in, right? And that's how the field has evolved. And several companies, some that you mentioned, and a lot of academic institutions here, the homegrown UCSF to MD Anderson Cancer Centers, to Mayo Clinic. Several academic institutions have also built their own personalized molecular classifier, try to understand, their patients better and treat them better. And AI has, given additional lens to it, because the sheer complexity of all these data coming together, AI has basically augmented our ability to analyze this complex data, putting all that data together and basically giving informed decisions on the new data that's coming in. So I think it's a great picture. And I think the only thing that the problem is that some of that data is siloed. I wish there is a federated data sharing, but I think as a community we'll get there.
Yeah. Can you tell what are the current opportunities, and is there any space you think is still not touched by AI and can be really, it can make it wonderful?
Yeah, I think AI. So we are in this golden era of AI, right? And what we are trying to do is we are trying to bring all these data sets together. So I think it's right now is the right time to identify use cases where AI can play a role, and then we can bring this to communities and hospital healthcare systems. But the question that you ask is very broad, actually, because healthcare is a very broad field, right? Actually, healthcare, then also medtech, pharmaceutical. It's a very broad, and then hundreds of use cases, if not thousands, right? Actually, and then AI can have a role, and each one of them, just from precision medicine, right? I already mentioned that I think we are trying to now create a reference data set and try to see how we can make informed decisions on any new data sets coming. And then there's another example, imaging, right? Actually, so human ability to analyze a certain core data sets is limited, right? Actually, so I think what AI is giving, AI has this ability that it can even analyze microsections, actually, and then it can give us answers that can really help us understand the biology of a disease and make an informed decision. But otherwise, we will just not pursue as noise to our eyes, right? Actually, so these are some of the areas: image analytics, big data analytics, and several other opportunities, actually.
Yeah. When you say precision medicine, right? And I want to understand where the development is right now. So is it for the chronic diseases where they have found out that, okay, if somebody is having cancer and he can or she can get a personalized treatment, but is it also available to common problems like fever, cough, flu, and all of that, or is still under development and a lot of innovation need to be done there?
Yeah, so precision medicine has been like cancer is the mother of all precision medicine, because this is where the need was, because chemotherapies kill patients, right? That's it's an unfortunate truth, but I think it's a truth. And so then cancer has led this revolution, and now it's been precision medicine vision is utilized in neurosciences, cardiology, and obesity, wherever you can have a gene that can give you information about disease. Recently we saw in COVID, right? There's a lot of mutants and then, mutations and treatments. So it has been very much, and in flu you mentioned, right? So which strain of the flu is, so you basically, that's one of the problems that you get vaccinated by one flu strain, and then there is another flu strain that's going on and you get sick with another flu strain. So then it can be there'll be time will come when then you can basically sequence that and try to find which strain of flu you have and can be treated. But that's the future dream in virology, actually. But I think in cancer it's already happening.
Yeah. So right now, I think the more focus is towards the life-threatening diseases and the chronic diseases, so that they can, be prevented and the mortality rate can be reduced.
That's true. And then there is also additional cost to it, actually. So then I think we have to also see that how, and also insurance companies are, seeing how necessary is this procedure, right? Actually,
yeah. So my next question, which is coming to my mind, I wanted to understand that what are the challenges? So when we talk about it, it seems to be pretty straightforward that, okay, we can do all of these things. But when somebody starts working on it, what are the hurdles you think? I mean, tell me what are the hurdles from different sectors like insurance or different other parties, stakeholders, plus insight like lack of resources or anything, whatever you think is the appropriate.
Yeah, so I think the field as a whole has overcome a lot of challenges, right? One of the biggest challenge is the sheer nature of healthcare. Actually, in US, complexity of the healthcare. Right? It's very complex, multi-layer ecosystem where you have insurance companies, like I already mentioned, payers, providers, and your patients, and government, actually, which is decision makers, right? Public health planners, actually, so, but then, overall, the hurdles, initial hurdles were, the data silos, right? Actually, this is one of the biggest hurdles, right? Every hospital, every company, every small startup has very preventive of their own data. So that created data silos, regional data silos. There are country specific data silos. So there are, all these challenges were there, but then there were a lot of consortiums were built. A lot of pharmaceutical companies donated data sets, Atom data sets. That was this based
so here. You're talking about the silos of the data on which they had to test?
This was like in healthcare, data is protected by HIPAA. So HIPAA. So then, it's you are limited with data sharing. So basically, institutions have their own firewalls, and then data is protected. So there were not enough data to train federated kind of a model, actually, that everybody can use. So how everybody has solved it is that they all came together to build their own large data sets, actually, and then they all train their own model. So they have their own model, which is acting now, and then which is giving these insights. And then the other is utilizing some other big company, third party, right? Actually, so the companies are offering now, which companies are a little bit more. They have flexibility because they can acquire data, they can train data, and they can build it, and then they can put a firewall to each institution, and then they can give you your silo within their bigger data infrastructure.
Yeah. So data is one of the problems, and data silos is one of the problems. Do you think there is another problem?
Yeah. So you mentioned insurance, right? Insurance companies have one big issue where there's all these tests are coming forward, right? And which are the tests that are adding real value to the patients, right? That's a challenge that insurance companies had, and then they have assigned now specific CPT codes, actually, which are now assigned to So if you get a test and get a right CPT code assigned, then your test is going to be reimbursed, actually. So I think that has been majority of the time worked out, but this used to be a challenge, actually. And then the biggest challenge is that from research, there's a lot of data sitting there, but how to commercialize it? How to bring it to so from bedside to bedside, right? This is where a lot of hurdles are there. And one of the challenges of this genome sequencing was that the data itself, the sheer data itself was pretty huge, right? How do you analyze that data, right? Actually, so then data analysis is also, so that, there was a very catchphrase, $1,000 genome and $10,000 analysis, right? Actually. So that's the data analysis is one of the problems that it still exists till today. But I think the AI is really helping there, because now you do a real-time data analytics as the data being fed, actually, which was the most needed, component to, implement all these, various, pieces of the puzzles together to try to, push the dream of precision medicine forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have some real use cases which are already there in precision medicine and it's really working like wonders of any organization?
Yeah, so there are very many real use cases, right? So I think one use case I can give it to you, right? Let's say a patient, right? let's call her, Mary, right? Actually, so Mary has metastatic breast cancer, right? And Mary goes to a clinic, and then her physician finds out through her genomic analysis that, hey, Mary has metastatic breast cancer, and she would benefit from, say, immunotherapy. Right, she will benefit from immunotherapy, and she is prescribed immunotherapy. But her, her wearable, her EHR, and her pharmacy data, which is analyzed by AI algorithm, suggests that she may be a toxic responder. She may respond to that, but she may be a toxic responder, right? So then, what the physician makes a decision. Okay, so this is not a good choice, right? So, I think the physician puts her on a chemotherapy regimen, right? Actually, so first scenario was that I think you identified, but then let's say come to a second scenario. So now, physician puts the Mary on the second treatment, which is chemotherapy, right? And then Mary is responding very well to chemotherapy, but her wearables and sensors predicted that she is not sleeping well. She has a lot of anxiety, and some of the other side effects, and which is reported to her care team, right? And the care team makes an adaptive decision and tries to bring the dose down, because the insights were that was a higher dose, might be affecting Mary in a different way, right? So I think then the dose is toned down, and then looks like the side effects were gone, and her sensors were all detecting that her, she's fine, and then she responds very well to the drug, and her disease is cured, and she, basically lived a very healthy life, actually. So
yeah, so such kind of scenarios, are they real?
These are real scenarios, right? So these are the two different. They're referred backed by the reference, actually. Yeah, but I'll not share with you the patient identity institution. But these are the real scenarios, actually. Yeah.
So are there any preventive cares as well, proactively detecting that, okay, this person is going to get this kind of chronic disease, maybe if not now, maybe later, 5 years down the line. So such kind of medicine advancement is there in precision medicine, or it's still going to take some time?
Yeah. I think that was the goal of a human genome project, right? So the human genome project was basically designed to see, how can we predict, the onset of your disease based on your genome, right? Actually, genome information. So there are several, mutations or variations that are present in the genome. So again, going back to Mary's breast cancer example, right? So if Mary was, diagnosed with BRCA1 mutation, right? BRCA1, that suggests that her breast cancer is more metastatic. Actually. It's more aggressive, advanced, or it's basically BRCA positive ones are more aggressive tumors than BRCA negative ones. So that's one. There are also mutations that can predict, onset to Alzheimer's or mental disorders or brain disorders. Actually, there are there are these variations that can predict. But that's one thing. The onset of the disease is another thing, right? Sometimes there were predictions were made, but then the individual never got that disease. But there are also, this is when, right, if you would learn and then you could course corrected yourself, you will never get the disease, right? So it's like it's always like you
can prevent it.
Yeah. So what this example tells us that if we know, just the knowledge itself is helps. But I think in the other case scenario where somebody knows that they're prone to cancer, right? Would that help them or hurt them, actually, right? But I think the course correction is always helpful, actually. It doesn't matter where you are, right? In your, so for example, with the diagnosis with diabetes, right? Actually, you can just basically course correct yourself, and then not only medications, but also you can include the lifestyle changes, right? Those are transformative. Yeah.
When a person should go to doctor and say that I want to go ahead and do the checkups for all of these, right? Or is there any right time, right age, or it's still not commonly available to the public?
No, preventative health is all available now in the market, actually. So preventative health, you can just go and do your exome analysis.
So for diabetes, I know it can be done, but for cancer and all of that, so are there any recommendations, or you think it is? I mean, it's a vast area again, right? If somebody says cancer. So what level of advancements are included when we talk about, precision medicine and personalized kind of treatment. But if somebody wants to know from before that if I'm prone to this disease or not, can they really go ahead and?
Yeah. So there are different layers to this question, right?
Yeah.
One is, the first layer is there are pan-cancer panels, right? So they're like hundreds of genes, actually. So you can just go and there are several companies that offer that, right? So you can go and get it tested with that. And then the second is cancer-specific panels, actually, so like breast cancer, colorectal cancer, this is when the biopsy can be made from the specific site, right? So the breast tumors, colorectal cancer tumors, skin cancers, melanomas, right? Sarcomas. So this can be done cancer-specific panels. So this is so preventative health is always, it's a proactive health is always better than reactive health, right? So I think there are several companies that are offering this so-called wellness panels, actually. So and there's always, you can have this conversation with your physician, and your physician can order those tests for you, and then always, it's always good to know and then course correct, and get your kind of get on track, and that always helps you, prevent a lot of the diseases that you will be prone to, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And now let's go back to our main topic of precision medicine. So I know it requires a lot of layers, and one of them is like modeling. And we have seen that there are a lot of hallucinations happening with the models, and there are a lot of biasing. So what are some of the recommended ways which organizations must look into so that they can avoid such kind of, biasing?
Yeah, I think bias is fairly real in the AI field, right? And it all depends on how you are training your data set, right? Actually, so for example, right, if you have a data set that's purely European, right? And then now you are trying to the AI is trained on a European data set, actually, clinical data set, let's say, and then now you are trying to implement that product in US, right?
Yeah.
Then it'll have biases, inherent biases, actually.
Yes.
So you have to make sure that you basically train your data set on the US, patient, representative patient population, right? Where you have, demographics, data set that accurately represents demographics, right? That's what one can be, solved, and when we can try to, also account minority data, actually, so that the AI is trained on that. So all these biases can be avoided moving forward, actually.
Yeah. Absolutely. Very well said. I was reading one of the examples of sepsis, right? And they have introduced in 2018 the sepsis wearable, and it really helped like 25% decrease in mortality rate, which is really good. So do you think, and this is like, I'm talking about 2018, which is, it's been a while now. So what level of advancements have been done from, say, 2018 or 2015 till now? If you can share some of the examples in IoT space or any other space you think there are advancements.
Yeah, so there are a lot of advancements, right? In fact, there are companies, I'll not name them, but then they are trying to build solutions where you can have continuous monitoring of your vital signs. Say that might sound a sci-fi, but you can have a continuous monitoring of your vitals as well as a FATCH. They can do the assessments on your sweat, on also your now, some of the companies are even doing innovation around blood glucose levels and all that, right? ECG is pretty common right now, right? You have the handheld devices, so, and then you have now chatbots and your virtual assistants, right? They are kind of, they are trying to assess your mood, what you, respond to, what causes, what's your environment and your, behavior. And then overall, and at the back end, there is an AI algorithm that's basically analyzing all this and making real time, suggestions to it.
So on the flip side, do you think so much of information sometimes is not good? I mean, if this kind of availability is being done to common people, do you think it has got its flip side as well? Where if it is given to me, probably I go crazy because I go mad looking into my pulse going up, down. And if there is anything up, then probably I might react in a weird way. So do you think too much of information is also not good at some point of time, and it should be restricted to the ones who really, really need and not to the common available?
I see it this way, right? Actually, so it's too much information. You can always restrict information, right? Actually, what you see and whatnot, right? But there's a behavioral hole that we all get trapped in, right? When we are not conscious enough of what we're eating, right?
Yeah.
How many things we have ate. By the evening, make a list of how many things sometimes you have ate, right? Actually, or how many, things that you didn't want to do, but you ended doing in the social, So what happens is that these reminders actually help you, be conscious of your own behavior, right? To be mindful. So I think it's, in a way, sometimes it's a good practice to just what I will say is just be aware of, day-to-day things. So it's almost like your, diary of things, what happened. So these are your vital report that you have throughout the day, and then, see what, how you can learn from it. And then, maybe you ate something that you thought didn't have a sugar, but there was a sugar in it, or, something. So then I think it eventually makes you smarter to make smarter choices. And remember, cancer doesn't come up overnight, actually. It's basically a series of abuses that we do in the body, and, knowingly or not knowing, right? So I think, and somehow we kept doing it because we didn't know, right? So I think the overall goal is that how to become more aware,
More mindful.
with data and with, just by being conscious and, trying to see that body-mind connection. Yeah. Whatever you put your focus on, that grows, right?
Yeah.
Actually, that's the saying. If you focus on your health grows, right? If you focus on your wealth grows, actually. So I think it's all, where you put your awareness on. Yeah.
Yes. Very, very well said, Dr. Mishra. And tell me now, what is the future of precision medicine, or where you see maybe 5-10 years down the line?
Yeah, so precision medicine is, I think it's a reality right now. It's being used in, several hospital healthcare systems, and post-COVID, everybody knows the value of precision medicine. And, of now with obesity rates rising now, we're also learning for a proactive health, right? How can we be more in tune with ourselves and try to live a healthy life, actually, right? So this is where, what I believe is the precision medicine is moving towards, preventative